Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the NFA Network. And this week, I got something special because I don't know if y'all can read my shirt, but it says, "Hey, Zaga." That's my name, and this is my show. So y'all get in part 2 of this bitch today. Now, I have a special guest, and before I get into introducing him real quick, I just want to let y'all know at home, I never told y'all what the fuck I'm doing with the show. I just said it's my show, and I'm going to do what I want with it. So that's what I was going to do, and now I gave it some more thought. And usually sober Tony has good thoughts, and you know, when I'm stoned on show, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. But I figured out what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring people onto the show. I'm going to bring back what NFA was and interview people and ask them weird fucking questions, because that's what this show is. Nobody fucking asked. Now, to my guest. He is a family member of mine. So for the first time in NFA history, I have another fucking Asian here, and I'm not alone, and it's fucking great. So I'm going to introduce him. He is, if you guys are into real estate or you're smart about your money and you're not like me, you probably know who he is. His name is Erik. He is the CEO, founder. He's the head honcho. I call him my rich uncle. He's from the entrepreneur circle, On Air Brands, Mindado Investment Group. See, I can't even pronounce that. That's some white people stuff that I'm not familiar with. His name is Erik Cabral. I call him the Filipino Gary V. Tito, Erik, what's going on, man?
You want to explain to people what Tito means? They're like, what's Tito? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for you Caucasians out there. Tito is like Tio in Spanish, like that uncle. But he's not actually my uncle. He's more of a cousin than an uncle, but I don't know where. Oh, shit. Well, you have a live spill on air. We just keep rolling, though. So,
Clean up crew.
Yeah, Tito means uncle in Filipino. So, Tito,
Yeah.
Erik, tell people a little bit about you, man.
Yeah, brother. I mean, you explained it. That was more than enough.
The spill that I just did.
Yeah, you can clean up the spill. I'll buy you some time. Yeah, man. It's a blessing, man. Thanks for having me here. I love what you're doing. I love what you've created. So just want to show some respect for what you've been creating, man. It's good. It's not easy.
That is such a lie.
For sure.
That is such a lie. You have not watched a single episode.
I watched what you sent me. But so, from what I gather, man, I know the difficulty, dude. That this is the work that I do, and I know it's not easy. So I just wanted to recognize. You better recognize what you've done, because it's an accomplishment, man. That's all. It's good. Congratulations.
I appreciate that. Thank you. I know. It's funny because I talk about you a lot, and I tell people, like, this is where I plan to be when I am his age, because you're old. So,
yeah, I'm his OG uncle.
Now what are you? You're in your late 30s, right? You're not even 40 yet, are you?
Oh, I love that. Thank you so much, man. Dude, I'm in my 50s, bro. I just entered my 50s.
Holy shit, you are an uncle. You're not my cousin.
Dude. Yeah.
Damn. Yeah, so you know what's weird is, like, I am the Tito Erik of this generation of cousins right now.
Right. Yeah. I see you running with those kids, man, and that was me with because there were in our family, we have a big family too. There were the older generation that was like you and Hunter and Jade, and then like the first batch, and then there was like a second batch, and then you became me for that second batch, which is pretty fun.
Like, I don't know where to sit. Do I sit with the kids? Do I sit with the adults?
Yeah.
Like, do I talk about my investments or do I talk about Pokemon? I can do both. It's fun.
Yeah, that's cool. and there will be a time where you're doing both, and maybe forever. I don't know. But for me, yeah, I'm clearly I'm on the old couch now. So, and I'm okay with that.
So for those of you, I probably made mention of this uncle before, but I've talked about it going to his house, and he had a movie theater in his house, and that's always been the coolest thing. So this is the uncle. For those of you, if I have mentioned that, which I'm pretty sure I have, this is the uncle. Finally, we got him on air. So Tito, tell the people a little bit about, like, what you do as far as the real estate stuff, because I know I followed your success journey, and I remember from the days of when you were living in New York City, and it was like a crappy little apartment. And now, I mean, I've seen your house now, and I call you my rich uncle because only rich people have weird cups and weird forks and knives. I do the same. It's just how I feel about it.
Inside baseball, man. Yeah, dude, the real estate thing was really just a way to get the hell out of corporate. I was stuck in a job, 21 years, man, in a job, and I make it sound on social specifically like it was a terrible thing. Every day wasn't terrible. It was really me. That I was the issue, bro. Just I didn't have any freaking purpose I was just stringing days of unhappiness together. And then at some point, I just had to look in the mirror and be like, dude, you're fat. You smoke a lot. You drink a lot. And I have kids now. So I was like, well, how do I make a change? Because I don't want to continue being this guy who's putting his fist in the wall when he's angry. And like, man, I grew up with a household like that. So I was like, how do I prevent me repeating what happened in the last generation? And how do I create a safe place for my kids? Man, I got 2 little girls. I don't want them to be deathly afraid of like dad walking down the hallway or walking on eggshells like I did growing up, bro. So that was really the catalyst for me leaving. I was just like, they always say, and this is very Tony Robbins-esque, it's like the pain of staying the same. You won't change until the pain of staying the same is greater than the pain of, well, I'm messing this up. But the pain of changing is less than the pain of staying the same. So like I had to do something, bro. So that's what started the real estate venture. I was just like, let me do something completely out of the normal for me. I don't know anything about real estate investing. But I think this is how rich people do stuff. Like they own real estate. That was really how simple it was. I need to make money. I need to replace my salary, and I need to be around rich people.
Damn, I've been hanging around with broke people my whole life. Nick, if you're watching, you're fired. Copper, you're fired. Everybody fired. I gotta hang around rich people.
Dude, only until I stepped away from that, and I'm not gonna like try to red pill anybody here, but it wasn't until I changed that circle, bro, that I was able to like get to what you're talking about, because think about it, dude. It's the whole crab in the bucket thing.
Exactly.
Right? So that's my stuck in.
I agree with that 100%. I mean, shit, I'm in the car industry. I don't say where I work for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
But I've been in the car industry now for almost 10 years, and like I'm where you're at, and like I feel it. I felt it in my bones, and I was like, now I have this. I talked about this a few episodes ago, but I found this by accident, and I fell in love with the idea of drawing up my designs, putting them on shirts, creating shows, having this creative outlet, and really understanding that what a passion is and what a love is for something. I had that for years in basketball, but there's only that, like you just said, it hurt every time I stepped on a court because my knees are broken and I can't do it anymore. So now finding this, it feels so great, and I understand why so many athletes do this now too. Mm-hmm. You look at Jason and Travis Kelce, and them had the success they've had. If only I was a professional athlete, the show would be a lot bigger.
You'll get there, man. And that's the thing, dude. It's patience, right?
But,
stuff doesn't happen overnight, for sure.
But sticking around people, I mean, like that's how I made it in the car industry, though. That's how I grew in the car industry. I tell people all the time, like, because I'm a manager, I'm a general sales manager now. And I remember when I first got in the industry, I told people I'm going to be a manager in 2 years. And everyone said, you're crazy. And even now, that's still a crazy statement, because it takes you got to be in the industry for 5 to 6, 7, 8 years to really become a manager. I did it in 2 years because all I did was I didn't hang out with the sales staff and go get drinks afterwards. I would go to the nice restaurants, blow my entire paycheck on dinner, and hang out with the managers and start talking ideas and business and learning different aspects of the industry. And that's what I'm finding in this now. And this is why I wanted to have you come on the show, because I'm expanding my horizons. Like, for example, next name drop for your companies here. Big sign behind you, On Air Brands. Elaborate a little bit more what that company actually does, because I know that's one of your big babies that you.
Yeah, I had the shiny object syndrome for sure when it comes to leaving corporate, and then now like, whoa, I can do whatever I want. So I started like 4 companies, and I thought that was cool. It looked sexy on my profile, but it truly just, when I look back on it now, I think, man, that just to me looks like someone that doesn't have any focus. Because I'm all over the place. So then when I got really intentional with what I'm trying to do, and I really, it works, dude. It's like, it's a whole Chinese proverb or the Bruce Lee thing where it's like, oh, running water, like the water dripping into a stone for centuries.
Put water into a pot, it becomes the pot.
Yeah. But the one, I think he says this, where, the dripping water over a century is going to actually bore a hole through a rock. And that's what's going to happen if you just focus your attention on one thing. And I know we were having conversations before you hit record. That's where I was trying to get at. When we're doing a lot of things, energy only goes so far, right? You only have so much of it every day. So like if you keep spreading it out, You know, it's going to be effective, but it takes longer. But if you could focus all that energy into one freaking thing, then you'll see the effects faster. So that's what I did, man. I moved all my energy from real estate investing, accomplished enough, for me to go, yeah, I'm a real estate investor. And then I moved and shift everything into on-air brands, which is our focus. It's been the focus over the past 3-4 years. But yeah, man, we produce for professional NFL, former NFL athletes, real estate investors, VaynerMedia, you name it. They're our clients. It's pretty cool, man. It's a blessing to be able to have a conversation with these. I was in a room with Victor Cruz, and I don't even watch football, dude. I just hear the name, and I'm like, oh, Victor Cruz is here. I know that name. And then I go talk to him. Dude's my height, by the way. And I was like, I had no idea. It says 6 foot on your profile, but I'm 5'9.5", 10, 5'10" at best. And you feel a little smaller than I do. But yeah, it's just like you said, dude. It's the networking, the opportunities, getting in the room with people that you never would have guessed. And then when you get in the room with them, they're like just regular people like us, man. They're just down to earth. As long as they're not a dick, then I try to keep hanging around with people like that.
See, I wouldn't be able to maintain my composure. If I had to sit in a room with Derek Jeter, I'm crying. I'm acting like fucking little girls at like Britney Spears concerts.
Dude, there are certain people that'll do that for me for sure, dude. But right, yeah. But it's good, man. You're doing it, man. You're doing it, and if you're playing the patient game, it's all gonna start happening.
No, I was gonna say the opposite. I was like, damn, I got personally attacked on my own show. It was like, you do too much. I'm like, damn, I do a lot though. Like, I'm boxing, I'm doing photography, I'm doing content creation, doing podcasting, also working full time, and getting married this year.
Well, dude, take advantage of that because at some point, and I think you already told me this, but at some point for me anyway, it was like the energy had to be shifted to like my family because we were having kids and stuff. Like, but when I was for sure, like I was single and it was just me and Jane, then that was a different story. I had a lot of time to do a lot of things. And then eventually you get, like you said, you get older, man, you get a little broke down, and your energy sort of shifts. You got to start like.
Speaking of which, this episode brought to you by Red Bull. If I didn't have it, we wouldn't have this show.
I wish they were really a sponsor. Are they a sponsor?
I wish.
That's so funny.
I wish. I've been begging Circle. I've been preaching Circle Water to every episode. Fucking sponsor me, goddamn it.
Do it.
I live by this shit. I promise you, I'm a salesman. It's what I do. All right. Now, so obviously you found quite a bit of success within your companies because you've been able to sustain, obviously living, just average living and living a higher lifestyle than the average person by having these companies in this investment companies and having on-air brands and having all these clients. So I know we talked a little bit about just hanging out with those and networking with those people, but what would you say you really owe? What do you owe your success to?
Dude, it's hands down. It's personal development, man. Because in order to become something that you're envisioning yourself to be, like, I want to become this multimillionaire. I want to do this. I want to own real estate. I want to whatever. I want to roll with Gary Vee. Whatever that is to you, you have to be that in order to attract that, right? And put it in simple terms. If you're a guy or a gal, right, and you're on the dating scene and you're swiping left or right, whatever you're doing, you can't, you rarely see like a 6 or a 7 dating a 10, right? Unless that guy's ridiculously rich.
Or they're very funny.
Or they're very, very, very funny. Exactly. Yeah, for sure.
That's how
but funny with money is probably the key. But dude, real quick, that point is like you have to change your game, right? You have to dress better. You got to look the part. Whatever you're trying to attract, you want to kind of mirror that. So that when they see you, they're like, oh, this person looks like me, or this person I can, we look good together. It's the same thing with rich people. It's the same thing with high net worth people. All that stuff, you have to speak the language, right? You got to dress the part. You got to just have a certain thing, a certain swag about you. And it could be fake at first, but you have to understand how to navigate through those rooms. And then that's what attracts more of that.
It's so funny you say that, though, because it's like, obviously, you know me, I grew up in the Bronx, and I used to have a very strong accent, and we can all hear that I do not have an accent anymore.
Yeah, you do.
I barely have an accent anymore. But when I lived in Florida, I used to have to like mimic how they all talk down there. And then I took public speaking because people couldn't understand me because I'd be mumbling my words, talking a million miles a minute.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I and plus I do this in sales all the time, because if you have, you have an older customer who's very, no, I went back in Vietnam, I went to buy a car. I'm not going to be like, yeah. I'm going to be like, absolutely.
Match the energy. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I get that. I get that. So, all right, people, that's the way to get a little more successful. Just fake it till you make it.
Well, dude,
that's kind of what you got to do, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, for sure, dude. It's but the thing is, I had to do so much internal work so that when you walk in that room, dude, it's like dogs. They could smell fear. Like, just in any room, if you don't belong there, people could sense it because you're nervous, or you don't talk to anyone because you're insecure or feel a fear of rejection. Whatever the things, whatever junk you have, like, that's the crap I had to work on. I had to work on all that crap so that when I did talk to people who were super intimidating, they had zero awareness that I was freaking out. You know, inside I'm screaming. I'm like, I shouldn't be here.
It's like that Jonah Hill meme where he's,
Yeah, for sure. Like you said, dude, you talk to somebody, they're famous or whatever it is, and inside, dude, I would definitely, especially in the real estate space, be talking to people that I would listen to their podcasts, watch their shows. I was a big fan. And whenever I would hang out with them, and then now that, we're in a place where it's supposed to be safe, but we're not supposed to be fans, I was freaking out. I'm like, oh, shit, I'm having dinner with this guy. Let me just be real cool. Play it cool, man. Play it cool.
So that actually leads me into something I want to talk about here. So when you do meet these, this is not on my list. I have a list of questions here, but this is one I just wanted to ask you. Do you get a chance? Do you feel like at some point you have to let these people know, like, listen, I am a huge fan of you, and I just want to let you know that. Okay.
100%. Sometimes that's the first thing I say.
I want to know what the etiquette is. Like, because I'm going to meet somebody famous one day, and I'm not going to know how to act. I'm just going to
that, dude, I mean, you be you, and you just say exactly what you just said. I mean, but not in a way that it's like this weird energy, right? It's kind of just like exactly how you approached it. Hey, just want to let you know, man, I'm a huge fan. Yeah, I'm freaking out a little bit, but now, and then ask him a really smart question that someone doesn't typically ask them. That's what the podcast is great for that.
See, I can't say I would be professional if I met Ryan Reynolds. I'd probably say some weird shit. I'd be like, hey, Ryan, hey, nice to meet you, man. I'll suck your dick.
Dude, that might break through the noise, though. I
think that's my personality, though. I do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Now I know you've met a lot of people, especially this last week. Like, you talked about meeting Victor Cruz. What was it like to sit next to, a Super Bowl champion? I know you spoke with Grammy winners. And what would you say is the best advice that, they might have given you just in conversation?
Dude, it's all the stuff we're talking about right now. It's like, in order to become something, you have to embody that before you're even there. So it's work, man. That's the thing. Whenever people are like, put the work in, sometimes they ask, like, what's the work? What does that mean? It's like waking up early. It's all the things, man. Waking up early, eating right, doing the things so that you're happy. And then when you approach someone like that, you're not tired AF, hungover, like, you actually have good energy, and like, that person seems like they'll think when they meet you, oh, this guy, I like this guy's vibe, man. I want to hang out with this guy. So now the next question before you leave the event or the room or whatever, it's like, yo, how can I stay connected to you, man? How can I add value in your life? That's the question, dude. That's the unlock for anybody who's ever wondering, is the super secret unlock to these rooms when you're talking to rich people, the language that they speak, and it's genuine, though. It may not be real when you say it at first, but eventually it will become. And you always ask, how can I provide value? How can I bring something to you? What can I do in service of you versus me? That was a mistake I always made, dude. At first, I was like, what's in it for me? What can I get out of this? What I can extract out of this? How much money can I make? But people feel that crap. They're just like, oh, man, get away from me.
You treat it like, so you got to treat it like it's a drug, like you're the drug, and you want them to become a little bit addicted to you. Like, they got a little taste. They smoked, they took a couple of hits, and you're like, wow, I feel great. I want more of that.
For sure. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I had to dumb it down for like
yeah, you give them a little taste, but the thing is, the taste has to be valuable, right? Like, it's got to be something like, oh, I felt really good after that, or like something that they want more of. And then, but the thing is, there's a lot of effort in that, because now you got to follow up with whatever you're promising. So it's like, hey, man, I can connect. Oh, what do you? Here's the other unlock, dude. Is like ask questions. It's super intimidating to talk to people that are ridiculously famous, but if you keep asking them questions, they want to talk, right? They want to have a conversation and they want to talk about themselves or what they're doing, and then you just try to frigging see the zeros and ones behind it, and you're like, oh, I just heard him say he needs a car. I'm going to connect him to Anthony. You know what I mean? Things like that, where it's like, oh, I got a guy for you. Oh, I know a guy. Oh, damn, he's struggling in this area of his life. He just said like he doesn't know how to do burpees. You know, whatever. I know a physical therapist, bro. He'll show up to your house. Like if you have a mental Rolodex and you keep building up all these people in your life, now you can start providing value to your people because you're like, yeah, I just connected to you that person.
Stringing a web.
Yeah. All the webs. Yes.
And listen, for the millennials out there, if y'all don't know what a Rolodex is, he old. That's one of the things you spin. It's like a contact list, but it's a physical contact
paper.
list.
Yeah, there's a paper in it. And yeah. What do you kids use now?
My general manager actually has a Rolodex on his desk.
Yeah, it's probably all dusty. Does he actually use it?
Oh, he uses it. He staples every rep that comes in from a bank or whatever. He'll staple their card right to their.
How old is he?
He's in his 40s. See, look, there's the weird cup. There it is. It was the weird cup. You know what I'm talking about? They're all fucking bad.
There is.
What cup is that? You know what we got? We got the ones from Five Below, the plastic ones that all fit in each other. That is so. Hold on, Actually, when I did stand-up comedy for a little bit, when I did a bit, I actually used you as a joke. And I'm like only rich white people got silverware and cups that don't make sense. Like, how do you stack that shit in a cabinet and it don't even fit properly? It takes way more space than it's supposed to.
Yeah, I guess, because you need space, right? You need space to store.
Yeah, when you're rich and white, you got plenty of space. That's why poor people got the cups that fit in each other. Space. Studio apartment.
That's good, man.
Oh, man. Now, next question here. Now, as an Asian American, do you forgive Hollywood for casting Tom Cruise as the Last Samurai? Because
Tom Cruise is the man, dude. Aside from that Scientology stuff, dude, that dude's the last
samurai.
He's the dude. But it's like saying, hey, isn't that part of the story? He was supposed to be white in the story.
Yeah, but it's fucking Tom Cruise. Like,
it's just like saying
Tom Cruise is there.
Dude, but the story is about a white guy in... no, but anyway, to answer your question, I have no problem with that. I have no problem with any of these, like, dude, I grew up...
Hold on.
White.
Gods of Egypt was not okay. Gods of Egypt?
Oh, I didn't see that one.
Gerard Butler plays the Egyptian god Ra. Like, come on, dude. Like,
yeah.
Some Gerard Butler...
hard to get.
Rami Malek wasn't available. He wasn't even a big name at the time. Like, you could have got him on the cheap.
For sure. Yeah. But that's funny, dude. Great movie, by the way.
Yeah, these are the kinds of questions you'll be expecting. Best questions. Really though, do you feel though that you felt any type of disadvantage being an Asian American trying to be an entrepreneur and trying to chase these dreams and goals?
I'll say no, but to give you context, dude, for sure, insane amounts of racism when I was growing up. I mean, kids are cruel as dude. I mean, literally throwing rocks at me, or calling me chink because I needed glasses, but I didn't know it at the time, and I was in Little League, and I'd miss every ball that I swang at. So yeah, kids were mean. But the thing is, when I became an adult, dude, like not all that stuff, it wasn't like it was non-existent. I think it was just more behind the scenes. But no disadvantage, no feeling of that at all. Unless somebody pointed that shit out, you know what I mean? Like, here's the thing. I remember going to school. So I went to school in Manhattan, School of Visual Arts, which I don't know how difficult or easy it is to get into, but it felt like it was hard to get into at the time.
It's definitely hard to get into.
And then, what's that?
I said it's definitely hard to get into. Anything not community college is hard to get into these days.
Yeah, I guess I faked it enough and was good enough with my artwork to get in the program. But I remember my mom's coworker saying this most racist thing ever. She was like, "Oh, he got in because they needed to meet a quota, not on the merits of my abilities and skill sets, bro." And that, like, see, when shit like that happens, that's what makes me mad. Because, like, I got in and never even thinking that. And then you put that negative seed in, and then I start to question how I got into school. Oh, I'm meeting a quota, versus just like, that's the biggest challenge, dude. If you're a minority, it's like, if we don't think about it, we don't talk about it, we're not, dude, like people would say to me, my burnout friends, I used to have long hair. I don't know if you remember, smoke weed, do all the things. And I would mention that I was Asian, and then the kids would all go, "What are you talking about, man? You're white." Like, what are you talking about? So they perceived me as white. I thought of myself as white, but I was like Dave Chappelle in that skit, man. Like the black Ku Klux Klan. That was me, bro. Like I had no idea what I looked like.
I'm like I canceled. Oh my God. So the reason why I asked this is because obviously I come from I have a different side of it because I don't look Asian. And even though like I have to fight to prove that I'm Asian. And like, so I see reverse racism where like I go into a Filipino store and they're like, "Oh, you like the Filipino food?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I am Filipino." No. Yes, I'm Filipino. Where are they from? Tell me where are they from? And I'm like, like this whole sleeve literally tells the story in our ancient language.
Love it. Yeah. No, dude, I get the same problem. Filipinos don't think I'm Filipino for sure.
And but for me, is like, obviously I've had my fair share of experiences with police officers too, because again, I look more Hispanic than I do either Italian or Asian. So, I mean, I've had my fair share where I've had guns drawn on me. I've been put in cuffs. I've been thrown on the floor. I've been attacked. I mean, I've had these things, I've been abused by law. So I've always been curious is like, well, what is it like when, you've reached a level of success? Have you seen any hurdles? And you look you look Asian. So like, what do I have to face?
No, I don't have any issues, dude. I mean, people when they do ask, in their roundabout way, they're always surprised that I'm Filipino for some reason. I guess because most Filipinos are shorter. They're like below 5'6" or 5'7" or something, and relatively tall for Asian.
We've been into the family functions, man. We tower over everybody.
Yeah, for sure. It's weird. I think that's the Spanish blood, must be, because our people are pygmies, so somehow we broke through. But yeah, I've never had problems, dude. Or at least that, like, I don't pay attention to it. Like, I don't focus on it. It doesn't bother me.
Okay.
I welcome it. It's like, hey, let's have that conversation. Yeah.
Oh, see, I love when people make Asian jokes towards me.
Yeah, I miss it.
I have fun.
Because then that means I can make fun of you, right? But now I'm not allowed to because you're not making fun of me.
So like me, so Carlos, my buddy who was on the show, he was in the first episode of Hey Zaga. We bust each other's chops at work all the time. Like even today, I stopped by the dealership to go print out some stuff for because I was getting my taxes done. Yeah, being an adult. And he said something, and I was like, "Carlos, you're Puerto Rican. You got like 12 kids, bro." Which is not a lie. He is Puerto Rican, and he has like 12 kids. He just started laughing. He was like, "Bro, don't you got a delivery to make?" And I'm like, "You know what? I do got a delivery to make. You're right." But that's the kind of stuff I love.
There's truth behind stereotypes, man. I mean, there's stereotypes for a reason.
Yeah. And so question for you now. Now, you talked about the corporate life. You talked about the entrepreneur life. Now, what would you say is like a positive and a negative from each side?
The positive and negative are pros and cons for either in corporate and so, dude, easy. The corporate America gig, it's a steady paycheck, right? Yeah, you can.
Reason why I still work at a car dealership.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice, man. But they do say the two most addictive things in the world is number one, heroin, and number two is a weekly paycheck, right? Because
yes, it is.
You become slave to that. But then that's the great thing about it. The con is you don't have your own time. Like, it's hard to find time for yourself to do the things you want to do. You feel kind of driven for someone else's purpose. Like, I'm doing all this stuff to make you multi-millions or billions. That's eventually what happens. When you get older, for sure, you're just like, man, I'm grinding, and someone else is getting rich.
Else. Yep.
Yeah. Yep. So that was the reason, one of the big reasons I left too. But then, and I'll tell you the quick story, dude. The last job I had, and I think I was gonna say I'm unemployable right now. I just wouldn't be able to do it anymore, dude. Just answer to someone else. But the thing is, that's the pro, is the freedom on the other side. There's a shit ton of cons on the entrepreneur side. But the big catalyst for me, dude, is when I turned a company from $500,000 to a $2.5 million company, not by myself. I had a team around me. But that's when I realized, oh, damn, look what I'm capable of doing. I can make lemonade out of lemons. But somebody else got rich out of it. And then there was no appreciation for that. That was the other killer, dude. They're like, yay, man. And they laid me off after I did all that work. It took like 18 months. Yep. So that's when I was like, oh, damn, if I could do it there, I could probably do it for myself. But nobody tells me I got to eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for years. I got to like wake up early. I got to grind. I got to get fit. I got to stop drinking and smoke. All these things they don't tell you, because that's the only way to get to become 7-figure, 8-figure is like you have to be this thing, man, that you see on TV or hear. And it seems corny, right? You're like, oh, Tony Robbins preaching all this stuff. But it's necessary, dude, in order to do that, because there are no lazy, tired, fat and miserable rich people. If they are, they got their different means. They did other things. But usually you got to work on yourself.
All right. So interesting. Yeah, I mean, that would be a major... See, I see that as a major con of being completely... It's like, wait a second, I actually have to go to the gym and take care of my body. This sounds so offensive. Like, I have a whole home gym that I put together downstairs, and ask me how many times I've used it, how long it's been there.
How many times have you used it?
I've maybe used it. Well, I had it in the garage at first, and that was my boxing gym, and I moved it to the basement for the winter. I've used it once since I put it down there, though. The problem is because I work for corporate or the corporate world, and I just don't have the time. I come home and I'm spending time trying to do stuff for the podcast, or if I'm in a creative state of mind, I don't want to lose that. So I start drawing, or I start trying to design stuff, write down the ideas, and, mix that with ADHD. Then you have a concoction of just ideas that aren't going to get done right away. Like I have 15 screenplays that I'm trying to write down.
With AI, man, you should be able to knock that out, by tomorrow morning.
I can't do that. I'm too much of Kobe Bryant Mamba mentality. Like, I got to do this. I got to figure it out myself. I don't want no help. Leave me alone.
But dude, perfect example, Kobe. Look at his work ethic, man. Like that guy would be in the playoffs, had friggin' 79 points or whatever it is. And then he'd still, like, everybody would leave the arena. He'd still be shooting.
Yep.
Not going home to rest, bro. Like, that's what it takes, man. It's insane. And that's the con of being an entrepreneur, man. You got to grind because it's for you. You got to put food on the table. There's nobody else that's going to tell you to do your work. Like, you got to hold yourself accountable. It's hard, man.
And that's something I heard. I forgot what I was watching. And it was some kind of sports documentary or behind the scenes thing. And it was a bunch of athletes just talking together, which is one of my favorite things, because you're seeing true professionals at a craft discussing it on a level that we can't even comprehend. Mm-hmm. And they were talking about Steph Curry. And I don't know why they were talking about Steph Curry. And they were talking about him, and they're like, he put in his 10,000 hours. And I was like, what the fuck does that mean? What does that mean? So I just started Googling, and I went down the rabbit hole, and I was like, what does that saying mean? And it's like, to become a master at something, you have to put in 10,000 hours of practical work into it. And I was like, God damn. And then I started thinking of one of the things that I've dedicated thousands of hours to. It's like, well, I'm really good at Call of Duty.
Dude, but there's a way to turn that into a profession. There's professional gaming leagues, all that stuff.
Well, it's actually what led me into this. Is playing video games led me into streaming, which led me into podcasting, which then led me into a whole network. And now I'm meeting awesome people, have amazing fans, and have fun, Now, do you find it offensive when people just don't wash their rice? I think that's a hate crime to me.
I honestly, I'm one of those people that don't wash it. I don't wash it, bro.
You are not getting the invitation, though. You can save the date, but you're not getting the invitation now.
Dude, don't. Okay, that's okay. I'll live with that. But the thing is, dude, don't eat the rice when you come to my house, then.
It's so starchy. How are you supposed to wash it?
I don't know, man. Let me try to wash it tonight and see what happens, if I can tell the difference. I'm lazy, dude. I'm lazy, man.
You can't let that get out into the culture. But all the Lolas will shun you.
How many times you got to wash it, by the way?
Till it's clear. Till the water's clear.
I don't got time for that.
And then you fill it to this line. Just that line.
This line, exactly.
One line.
Dude, That's the secret, man.
Ancient Chinese secret. Now, back to a serious note here. What advice do you have for people trying to become an entrepreneur? Just trying to get into that world and like they're afraid to take that step.
Yeah. Well, first off, getting to the root of that fear. Like, what are you afraid of? Figure that out.
Well, I mean, most people, I would say, financials, right? Because doing this, you're taking away that stability of that weekly paycheck. So now you're diving into something with no reliability whatsoever.
Yeah,
I think fear.
I think hopefully getting to a space where you can actually save enough money where you're like, hey, if this entrepreneur thing doesn't work out for a year, I'm okay. Like that will probably push some of the fear away. That's how I did it. We had over a year's savings, and I was like, oh, okay. I got permission from my wife, and she was like, yeah, go do it. Go make a mess and spend a lot of money.
Key fucking word right there, people. Yeah. Permission from my wife.
Exactly.
That's what y'all gotta do. Because I know damn well I would not be doing podcasting if my wife did not approve it.
Dude, unless you want to fast track to a divorce, right? Like, it's that's the dynamic of my family anyway. If there's big moves that are getting made like that, we got to have a conversation. Yeah, it was funny because a friend of mine, he went out and he has chickens in his yard, right? And one of the roosters was going buck wild and scratched his kid, and through emotion, dude, he took the shotgun, went out there and blasted that thing. And I was talking to his wife. I was like, he didn't talk to you about that? Like, there are laws in our state. Like, you can't just go out and start shooting in your property. Like, you can't in public. It's just like, no. I was like, damn, I don't know, man. That would have stressed my relationship out with my wife if I just went out there with a shotgun, like, honey, I'm gonna go shoot some chickens. I was like, what the heck? But that to me is a big decision, bro. Maybe not to others. Leaving corporate, big ass decision. It depends. It depends on what's going on in your world. But yeah, make that decision. Find out what you got in savings. Maybe you could sacrifice some things. Drive a less expensive car, or live in a smaller house. If you really, really, really want to move toward a passion, you got to make some sacrifices.
Yeah. I see. I'm too stubborn. It's like, no, I'm going to pay $25 for fucking Netflix. I want my goddamn TV show.
Well, that adds up for sure, but not Netflix. I'm talking about bigger things. Yeah.
Oh, I mean, shit, dude. It's crazy how expensive all the subscriptions are, right? Because you have Peacock, Hulu, Netflix, Paramount, Max, the internet itself. And then you got Spotify and all. I'm paying $250.
Think about it, dude. Because when did you cut the cord? You cut the cord, right? You don't.
Oh yeah.
So think about it, dude. We were paying $250. I remember that a month for Comcast. Yep. And then I remember when we moved, I was like, we're cutting the cord. No more television. And now $250 back in the pocket. But you're right. Now I'm probably spending close to just for that nonsense. Like it just turned a different format. It's streaming.
Yeah, it's one fat payment you're paying over the course of it. It's like you'll see it pop up on Apple. Oh, $15 you can charge from Apple. Whatever. It's a subscription. Yeah.
But dude, don't you just use someone else's Netflix or someone else's Hulu login?
Not anymore because now they cut that out. So my father was using my Netflix, and now they're like, well, if you sign into this one, this is the home one, and the other ones will be signed out of.
Oh,
I was like, no, you're not signing me out of my house.
Oh, still we're allowed me, man. They haven't cracked down on me.
Yeah, it's a weird thing. Like you have to send if you're on a phone too, as long as that phone connects to your home's Wi-Fi, or the home TV's Wi-Fi, whatever it is, then you're good for a month. Yeah, you have to check in once in a while. It's weird. So now, if you here's a question for you. If you had to go back to the corporate world for 10 more years, they forced you, you have to do this, or you have to go 5 rounds of Manny Pacquiao.
I'll go with Pacquiao, dude. I would, and pray that he'll just go easy on me, for sure, dude.
I feel like Pacquiao would be okay. He's 5 foot, bro. He's not a tall guy. He's 130 pounds.
But dude, it's the power behind the punch. He might break a rib. I'll get internal bleeding. I don't know, man. It's a risk. No, I would rather do that. Just get it over with, bro. Get it over with. I'm not going back for 10 years. Heck no. What, man?
So now,
is he really that small?
Dude, he's short. He's very, very short. I believe he's 5'2". I'm actually gonna pull.
What? Dude, you can't trust the internet, man. They always shrink him down by 2 or 3 inches, whatever they say on the internet.
He's 5'5", so he's probably 5'2". He's probably the same height as Tita Daz or Tita Ami.
That is bananas.
But he's like terrifying because he just destroy you.
Good for him, man.
Right? Now, what was the most? What would you say was the most challenging moment you had early into your journey into entrepreneurship? Because obviously, say you quit the corporate world, and now like the world's at your disposal. What was the biggest hurdle you had to come over in the beginning?
Letting go really close people to me, and just
what does that mean?
Dude, I roll deep with my college buddies, my friends. I spoke to them every day. They were making fun of me, for like being a Tony Robbins guy, being like this guy who's trying to improve himself so I could become something else. There's fear behind that, I think, for sure. Like they're going to lose me, and it's kind of like you manifest that shit, you attract what you fear. So like whatever they were fearing, I'm still close to them, but it's not anywhere near, and they're still friends that I love dearly, man. And I'll do anything for them. But that was hard, dude, breaking out of the habit of talking to these guys and gals every single day, seeing them, multiple times a year to basically nothing, like I went dark, man. Because I was just trying to surround myself with people that I was trying to be like. Because like in order for me to do that, I got to become that. And then in order to do that, I got to shed the old and create new. So that was really hard, dude. That took years, man. Guilt, the Catholic guilt, all the things, man. I was just like I was flogging myself. I'm like, but but we're good now, man. They see what I've created and, respect, but, and I miss them, but yeah, I can't, dude. It's tough, man. It's tough letting go of people you love,
Yeah, and it's weird because I understand that, and I get that too, is because, a lot of my friends were like, oh, I haven't seen you in a while. And I'm like, what you been up to? And I'm like, dude, I'm just working. I'm working on stuff. I'm trying to build. I'm trying to grow. And I get the whole getting made fun of. Like when I first started this podcasting thing, everyone looked at me like, you're podcasting and you're 30-something years old. What do you mean? I'm like, yeah, dude, I'm going to go on my show and smoke and talk and laugh and do whatever the fuck I want and say what I want. And people don't like it. They don't like it. They love it. They love it. And whatever. And it's still cool because, I bowl with my father and my bowling team name is the show name. So like, I'm spreading it everywhere in my life and people are calling me by my internet name now, not my real, for those in the world don't realize my name's Tony, but people call me Zaga and that's now my nickname. And it's weird to give myself a nickname, by the way, I have to say. Tony was given to me like I was hanging out with all my friends.
Yeah.
Multiple Anthony's. One of us gets Tony. That's it. That's what happens. But to say, you know what, I'm going to go by Zaga from now on.
Yeah. It's kind of like that weird, when you become an actor or a celebrity of some sort, you got to like come up with your name. I think for SAG, like, because you can't have the same name in Hollywood or whatever. So you got to like make up your own name. But that's cool, man. I'm happy for you.
If you could, what would you create your name to be? Like if you could give yourself an internet alter ego, what would you call yourself?
Dude, I would change my last name to Brand because everything I create is around branding. Some dude came through one of my communities. His name was like, not Russell Brand. I forget his name. It was like John Brand, whatever it was. And I was like, dude, you got the coolest name, man. And he was a podcaster. Because then at least now I'm really owning the branding part. That is my persona. That's my ID. All my companies, I found this out through my team. They're like, dude, everything you create has the word brand.
I just want to point out, that's a shitty superhero name. I was expecting a lot better from you because I know you're a nerd deep down. And I was expecting something cool because Zaga, that sounds like, I feel like I have lightning.
Yeah, it's a badass name, dude. So this is kind of like if you have a son or anybody out there who's naming a kid, you want to create a name that when I'm going to show my age here, but when they walk into the bar, they walk into Cheers and everybody goes, oh no, and they scream your name out. You don't want like Sheldon, like you want a badass name. So Zaga is a badass thing to call out.
Like all I'm thinking about is freaking like Elon Musk kids.
Yeah,
Like XAEU147.
I guess X. That's cool, dude. If we had a son, I would name him Xavier after Professor X. So there you go. That's the shout out to our nerd stuff, and then people will call him X.
Yeah, be a good one.
Yeah.
Now obviously, everyone that listens to our show knows that I'm very proudful of being Filipino. I wear it on my obviously sleeve. Actually, you've never seen this yet.
I don't think that looks new to me, man.
Yeah, I got this all last year. We haven't seen each other in a while, but yeah, no, I have the whole family story all tattooed.
That is
here.
cool, man.
Now obviously, I'm very proud of the heritage, and for many reasons. But when I ask you, what would you say you're most proud of about being an Asian American and being, in the position that you're in now? Because obviously, I see it as like being a role model in a sense, right?
Dude, I'm going to disappoint you with my answer here, but I'm just going to be honest. I grew up with a lot of shame being Filipino. It was different for me. Yeah, for sure. My parents came to the States in 68, 69, and I was born in 72. And there was a lot of racism, bro. And there were no Asians. The only Asian that people knew were Bruce Lee and Chinese people. That was the only thing that existed in America from Asian awareness. Yeah.
And real quick, I just want to point something out with that because when I saw Shang-Chi in theaters, like I legit cried after I saw it because it made me think of like as a kid, like all I had was Bruce Lee or Jackie Chan. And it's like, it's either you were a joke or you're dead. And it's like to see this, I was like, wow, like there's now somebody on a screen that little kids who are Asian can look up to. So,
dude, it's still hitting me. Like when I was sitting in the theater for Spider-Man: No Way Home, and that woman started speaking in Tagalog. That's when it hit me. That fat kid in there is Filipino. For 3 movies, I didn't realize the dude was Filipino until he said Lola. And I was like, Lola, damn. I was like, whoa, we got some Filipino representation in Spider-Man. This is cool. But dude, no, it was different for me, man. I was shameful of it. My parents didn't speak Tagalog to me at all. They wanted to assimilate as quickly as possible. So they wanted to be American. And so that culture was not really, aside from, the food, the family and stuff, there was no pride that was like instilled in me. So it's kind of cool to watch you guys embrace that. But for me, it was always a weird sort of, I was embarrassed because I needed to blend in.
And that's the reason why I wanted to ask you that, or I asked you that question, is because I've seen a resurgence in my generation, the next generation after you, in seeing that resurgence in pride of being Filipino and what we represent, and that Filipino, American Heritage Month, and like the fact that there's a whole playlist dedicated to our culture, and like I live for this stuff. I love it, and it makes me proud. But then like my dad, yeah, like he's proud of being Filipino, but you see the same thing that you see is like you can see that he has like a little resentment towards it in his undertone a little bit, and like even Lola, who goes to the Philippines all the time, to see her, like she never tried to teach me Filipino, yeah. But like if it was not for the food of the family, it's, there's not a lot to it. Which is one of the reasons why like Ellie and I, like we're going to the Philippines for the honeymoon.
That's awesome.
And like, because, she wants, like, she sees how much how proud I am of my heritage. Like for me, like you said, again, 2 different sides. You came here, you were born shortly after your parents got here, and you had that resentment and just kind of stuffed it down. Where me, it's like, I see it as, hey, I'm wearing it on my sleeve. I'm firstborn American. Yep. And my family is immigrants, and I live for that. So it's weird to see the 2 different dynamics of the 2 different generations of it,
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you grew up in a slightly different time where it was more being embraced as you got older. But for me, it was definitely a struggle. And I think that I love that Filipino pride, or, when I lived in Manhattan, whenever I'd see the Puerto Rican Day Parade roll through, although it was scary as heck, man, to see the city get completely, everybody from the Bronx and Queens and everybody would come flooding into the Upper East Side where I was living. But the pride of your country, for me, dude, it was just being American, bro. Like that's what I embraced. I was like, I'm freaking American, man. Like when people would give me shit for being Asian, I'm like, yeah, I'm American, man. I was born and raised here. I'm a New Yorker. I was born and raised in New York. Like, why are you putting this label on me? So it was kind of like reshifting the focus for me. And that's how I grew up. It was like, they used to call us Twinkies, but that's like, we don't have yellow skin. So coconuts make sense, right? So I'm brown on the outside, white on the inside.
Yeah. And it's just cool. I mean, like, especially now, because like you have comedians like Joe Coy and like, you know, you have megastars like, you know, Bruno Mars, Haley Steinfeld. And it's weird. Like I watch these shows and I think, you know, like, I don't know about you. I feel like Filipinos are the only ones that do this where they're like, hey, they're Filipino.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sitting in other households. Yeah. Do Spanish families do that?
No, I don't. I've asked other. See, I'm blunt like that. So I've asked other races blatantly. Do you go like, hey,
yeah,
they're Jewish, or hey, they're Armenian? Like they're like, no, we don't do. I don't give a fuck. And I'm like, that's clearly just a Filipino thing, and it's nice to know that we're just a weird culture. Cool. All right. I know you're a busy guy. I know you're very schedule based. Do you have time for a few more questions or?
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned before. Yeah, I got American Ninja Warrior. I got to drive my girl to in a bit. But yeah, I got a few more minutes.
Okay. Now, let's have some more fun with these questions here. Now, if you could pick to live one day as this person and you have all their knowledge now.
Yeah.
You can only pick one of these two. Are you picking Spider-Man or are you picking Gary Vee?
Spider-Man, dude.
There you go.
Heck yeah. Are you kidding me?
I wanted to pull at the childhood heartstring. It's like I could gain all this knowledge about to be super successful for the rest of my life, or I can swing from the fucking.
Heck yeah, dude! All day long, man. Struggles and all the villains. I'll take it, man.
I had to ask that one. I don't know if you knew this. I actually have Spider-Man tattooed on me now.
Oh no, I didn't know that.
I have a Wu-Tang Spider-Man tattoo.
A Wu-Tang Spider-Man.
Yes, I'll send you a picture of it.
Yeah, please.
Now, if you had to start over with nothing, like you woke up tomorrow, you are just homeless, you have no money, no nothing, how would you create wealth for you and start a new empire? And I asked this because I watched, what's his name, Grant Cardone do this in a TV show.
Yeah, he's exactly who I'm thinking about.
I knew you were going to tap into that one.
Yeah, he did a great job, by the way. I think that it's very similar to what he would do. It's like knowing what I could do really well. That's the thing, dude. Like owning, like you're really good at sales. You're really good with people, right? It's like having that level of awareness. That's the thing, man. People walk around through life not realizing what their superpower is. So like just to keep leaning into that theme, my superpowers is very similar to yours. Like I love people, man. I could jam with people. I could connect with people. I think it's part of being that Filipino thing where I was always insecure about what I was. So I had to blend in with white people, black people, brown people. Like I was always like, and I would literally lie as a kid. I remember this was in like the 80s and there was like a group of these black kids. And then I walked up and I was like, yeah, I'm half black. Just straight up just went, yeah, I'm half black. And they were like, yo, come in. And then we huddled together. I'll never forget this. Yo, and this one kid, Desmond, we huddled together, like 3-4 black kids and me. And they go, yo, my dad told me we got to watch white people. It's still fitting for you. Dude, it was crazy. I was like, wow, I can blend. I'm like a chameleon. I can blend in any group. That's what I do. I was a headbanger. I had long hair mixed with the white people, the preppy people, the black, like ever. So I think that ability, that experience, even though it was traumatic at times, helped me become really good with people, man. So I'll lean into that, dude. Like do exactly what Cardone did. Meet somebody that has money and like, how can I help you? What can I do in service of your dude? A black cat just walked past my window, bro. That's not cool, man. Yeah, but anyway,
that's not bad luck. That's actually good luck.
It's good luck. Okay, yeah, I like that. Yeah. White
cross the back. That's a problem. If double crosses,
deja vu.
If you see it twice, that's not a good sign. Once is okay. Two times it's a warning.
But yeah, that's what I would do, man, for sure. Find a business, and then figure out how to help them.
Okay, that's probably. I'm thinking. I was like, that's probably what I would do. Is like, how can I convince somebody to give me something I need while also providing very minimal because I have nothing?
Dude, it's you. You can sell anything. So that's what I'm with you. I would do exactly that. Just walk into the room, be like, yo, what's your product? What are you trying to do? How are you trying to make money? Let me help you make money.
You know, the first time I found out like my secret, like my skill set in this is like, this is what I'm destined for. And I knew it. I knew that I was destined for sales with one thing. My friends and I, we used to go to Walmart. We were younger all the time. This was when, like, Walmart was fun to go there, and you can try to get kicked out or just people watch and see the creatures that roam there at 2 a.m. in the morning. There was a whole website of like people at Walmart, like .com. Like you just scroll through and see the creatures.
Yeah, I've seen it. It's pretty scary.
And I remember we just walked down the Xbox aisle and we looked at the Xbox Elite. It was black with chrome and it was real pretty. And I sold him on the idea of getting an Xbox 360 solely on the point that it was black.
Oh, wow.
I didn't know the specs of it. I didn't know I had more memory. I just said, dude, it's black. What doesn't look good in black? And I just started rambling things off and just kept going down a spiral, ADHD brain of just things that were better in black. I'm like, look at basketball. Got better. He ended up buying, he had 2 Xboxes for no reason. We still talk about it today. He goes, I'll never forgive you for that. And I'm like, hey, listen, you helped me in my life. I found a calling because of you.
Yeah.
Now, what was I saying? I did watch one. There's a few of your because I see all your TikToks and all your posts that you post on Facebook and stuff. And you talked about a personal brand. Can you explain what a personal brand is and how does one create it and keep it consistent?
Whether you realize it or not, you have a personal brand that you've developed and you're putting it out there, right? It's really the perception that people have. It's really your reputation, the reputation that you're building, what people know you for. You know, even in your job, you know, people may say, you know, Tony's he's gonna deliver on his promise, you know, or not, you know, like that becomes part of your personal brand. Also, like it's like just being aware of what you're putting out there in terms of like social media content. But for me, dude, I want to help develop personal brands, develop my own personal brand that's like real, because a lot of people create a persona that isn't you. And then eventually when people meet you in person, now they're going to talk about you behind your back and go, yeah, that like people always ask me, what's Gary Vee like in person? Like he is the guy that he puts himself out there. Like that's real. So that's the kind of brand I think people should be paying attention to, because you can, yes, curate your content so that you put a version of yourself out there. But what happens when you start shaking hands and kissing babies? Like it's going to get around that you're not really that person. So that to me is like really, really important. And then building that personal brand is really your online reputation, all the digital breadcrumbs that lead to you. In terms of, for me and you, it's sales. It's like, how are people going to come to me and eventually love and trust me through my content and go, hey man, I need your help. Dude, I've built a personal brand now large enough where I just get texts and calls all day where, you know, like, hey, can you set up a meeting? And those are leads, right? Those are people that want to work together. So, yeah.
Then I think about this, like, you know, you look at the Paul brothers, right? And just look at their 2 personal brands separately. One is just naturally hated. Everyone hates the guy, even though he doesn't really do a lot of bad things. And the other one is just loved right now. Like he's a WWE champion, which, by the way, fuck him. It's bullshit.
He's WWE now?
Dude, he has the #1 podcast in the world. He's WWE champion. He's going to be wrestling at WrestleMania. Like, fuck you, dude.
What can't you do?
He's had sex with porn stars. Like, you literally have lived every 12-year-old's dream.
Wow. Dude, he's doing what Michael Jordan wanted to do. Remember when Michael Jordan went to the MLB and failed miserably?
McAfee, right? Like, not only were you a professional athlete, you're a professional broadcaster, you're a professional podcaster, you got Stone Cold stunned and had a beer with Stone Cold Steve Austin at WrestleMania. Come on.
Yeah.
Shit. All right. I will wrap this for you because I know you got to go to American Ninja Warrior, which that's kind of cool. Like, what the fuck kind of shit is? Like, some people are like, you know, oh, yeah, I got to go to a haircut, or I don't know, we're going to have dinner. They're going to American Ninja Warrior.
It's one of the gyms. It's one of the gyms. But yeah.
Like, what is Jane doing? I'm going to see her out there just swinging.
No.
Wall on TV.
Yeah, that'd be cool, man. I'd love to see my girls on that show someday. They love it.
That'd be awesome. All right. Well, Tito Erik, thank you so much for for coming on the show and just chatting with me, giving some people some advice. For y'all at home, this was like the most professional y'all have ever heard me. I'm not even like that stoned, so it's great. But thank you so much. Give a shout out to like, where people can find you if they want to learn more or if they want to find stuff that you're working on and what you're doing. And
I have something for your audience, your crew. It's a download. So, you're in podcasting. It's a list that I've created over the past several years on like tips on how to be a good podcaster, or one of the best ways to grow your podcast is to guest on others. So you're doing a unique thing where you have your own network. That's another way to kind of hack the system. But if you want to download that, go to my website, erikcabral.co/guide. And that's Erik spelled with a K, E-R-I-K. Dude, the funniest thing, you saw like I was hanging with David Meltzer, and he was writing in my book, and I knew he was going to write it E-R-I-C. So I said with a K before he even asked. And he goes, Nazi? I was like, did you just say Nazi, bro? I didn't say it. If you jumped into my body like Swayze style, you would have made a whole joke about it. But I was like, well, Nazi. And so now when he sees me, he's like, Erik Nazi. I'm like, I'm not Erik. It's Erik with a K, bro, not Erik Nazi. But yeah. So erikcabral.co/guide. Get a download. That's for you, so you can grow as a podcaster.
Sweet. Yeah. I mean, I know there's quite a few podcasters that actually follow the show, so I'm going to download it. What the fuck? Why did you just send this to me earlier?
You don't need it at this point, man. You're wrong.
Yeah. I mean, I'm already, like the last episode we did was like the 100th episode that I had ever produced or recorded. So yeah, I took it I wish I had a checklist back then, but now it's like, I'm happy that I went through the hard route of learning. Like everything broke at one point in time, and I had to learn to the smallest details of like programming a fucking camera,
dude.
But I listen, it all worked out, and I now provide technically. I'm inadvertent IT, and it's kind of racist that I'm Asian and now I'm IT. Fucked up. But thank you for coming on the show, guys. Check out my uncle. Check out all his stuff. Follow him on air brands. Like he's always posting stuff with different guests and stuff like that as well. And what was I gonna say? Yeah, guys, check out. I don't know what the fuck we're gonna post next time, because we're just winging it at this point. But yeah, just subscribe, follow, do all the stupid shit. I love y'all.
Thanks, brother.
Oh yeah, I'm out. Peace.